Good afternoon, everyone who is watching live today for the IELTS analysis class. Welcome to you, and let's have a look together at another task, this one focusing on key vocabulary for the IELTS test. So if you are watching live, just say hi in the chat. It'll be great to see who is watching at the moment. And if you're watching this class later on, I hope that you are able to find the answers useful. So, as I said, today's class focuses on vocabulary. There were some great submissions from students as well, suggesting their own definitions for some of the vocabulary that we were looking at. So we'll have a look at some of those definitions together too. And if there is anyone who is watching the class who has a definition they would like to share with us live, then I will read those out as well so that we can all see the work that we've been doing together and that we can improve our vocabulary store through doing these activities. So hello to Ashinichi. Great to see you in the class today. Hello to you. Let's have a look then at the task. And hello also to Jojo. Great to see you. And so the task is just here then. We can see that we have 8 vocabulary items, words and phrases that we want to find the definitions to. So let's go through and have a look at those together. The first one we've already got, corporal punishment. And we can see that is a means of punishment that involves hitting someone. So that was the example. Let's have a look at the other vocabulary items. Great, I can see a lot of people joining the class now, saying hi. Hi to Gladys, to Bert, Rakesh. Yes, Ashjanichi, you woke up at the right time. Great to see you here. Betsy Saji as well, hi to you, and Shanti, and hello to you, Alice. Great to see you all in the class today. So going through together then these definitions, let's have a look at B. So sentencing someone who has committed a crime to the death penalty. What are we looking at here then? What phrase refers to this definition? Let me know in the chat if you feel confident about your answer. And the answer is, of course, capital punishment. Yeah, so sentencing someone to death for a crime they've committed, that's what we call it, capital punishment. Hi, Nimra. Great to see you in the class. Okay, next, C, an order given by a court telling someone not to go to certain places or see particular people because they have behaved antisocially. And we get some examples of antisocial behavior. Yeah, and we can see that's an antisocial behavior order, known as an ASBO. Those were quite popular in the UK for a few years. They're less in favor now, but it's one way of punishing people, stopping them from being able to visit certain places. The next definition, a punishment which tells someone by law when they have to be in their home. This is a curfew order. If someone has to be at home by a certain time, then they are under curfew. It's worth bearing in mind that curfews are being used by many countries around the world at the moment as a result of coronavirus. So these are particular, well, this is a particular vocabulary item which could be useful going forward. There's so many references to coronavirus at the moment. I'm sure in your essays you're using coronavirus as a reference point for examples that you are giving. And so yes, a curfew is when you tell someone they have to be at home by a certain time. Okay, so I can see there was a comment saying that the answers weren't as clear, so let me just change the color to blue so we can all see that as clearly as possible. Okay, working without pay to repay society. This would be community service. So you have to do service to the community. You don't get paid for it. This is a form of punishment in many countries. Okay. Is that clearer now, Betsy Saji? Great. And so for F, the maximum prison sentence which a court can issue. Any idea for F? That would be life imprisonment. So that would be number 2. You can't do a longer sentence than life. That's as long as it goes. Okay, so Jojo Hamdi, I can see that you are giving some answers. So you put 1 as A. Well, 5 was A, wasn't it? 5 was the example, and that was A. And you got E for number 3. No, E was actually number 6, community service for E. Right, and finally then, good. I'm glad that's clearer for you, Betsy Saji. Good stuff. For F, the maximum prison sentence which a court can issue. We've already done that. So G, money that you have to pay as a form of punishment is a fine. So that's G. So for example, speeding fines. If you drive your car too fast in a restricted area, a restricted zone, you would get a fine. You would have to pay money for that in many cases. Don't worry, Jojo. The point is to learn. So if you have made some mistakes, we can learn it now. Make a note of this new vocabulary in a vocabulary book, or you could do it on your tablet, on your phone, and then you can review it, because this punishment vocabulary could be very useful for you in IELTS Part 2. So we can make mistakes, but the key is to learn from those mistakes. Okay, so we don't have a definition then for number 7. That's what we are missing. And if you would like to suggest a definition in the chat, please do, and we can have a look at those together. But what we have are some very good definitions as well from students who have been working hard in the Facebook group. So a prison sentence then. What would be a good definition for a prison sentence? Let's have a look at that, or some of these together. So remember, we're looking for a definition of a prison sentence, and I'm going to bring up those definitions just now. So let's have a look. Okay, so here is the first one from May. Prison for someone found guilty of a crime. Okay, the thing is, we don't want to repeat the words from the original item in the definition. So prison sentence, saying prison, what exactly is a prison? So definitely involves someone found guilty of a crime, but what exactly happens when that person goes to prison? So thanks for that suggestion, May, but just a little bit more detail is needed. Confinement in prison as a punishment imposed on a person who committed a crime. Okay, so Maricard has given a bit more definition there, which is great. But again, don't use the word prison in the definition. So confinement in an area or a secure area which you cannot leave might be a little bit more appropriate there, just to avoid repeating the word in the definition. And a punishment given to a person who committed, or it should be who committed or who commits a crime. Again, though, just a little bit more definition. What kind of punishment? So confinement within a restricted space, which is received as punishment for a person who committed a crime would be a good definition there. So thanks very much for all those people that submitted those definitions. Well done. We've got another one here by Osama. You have to pay the price of your crime. Yeah, but again, what specifically happens when you go to prison? Because a fine is paying the price of a crime, isn't it? You could say that capital punishment is paying the price, but it's distinct from a prison sentence. So if there were any new vocabulary items there, I hope that you have made a note of those and added them to your vocabulary store. The wider your vocabulary is, the better you will be able to perform in the IELTS exam. Thank you to all of those who have been watching live, and I hope to see you again in a couple of days' time for the next IELTS analysis video. Until then, take care.